is this?
Okay. All right.
Really?
This is Vinca major.
Wow.
Okay. And you can see that for us, Vinca major is not nearly as aggressive as Asian jasmine. In other areas where it's a little bit easier, a little more moist and more acidic, Vinca major will be almost as aggressive as Asian jasmine.
So it will grow the same way as that was?
It's a similar pattern, yeah. It's a similar ground cover like pattern. Interestingly, if you'll notice, all right, let's see if I can find another. So this is Asian jasmine, okay, and I told you we can kind of compare it. If you're having trouble, typically this is something that eventually becomes that you just know it. This is just Asian jasmine, and it's just something you see every day. All right, but if you have trouble comparing the leaves, which you really shouldn't, you notice that these leaves can be almost cordate, almost heart-shaped.
Like an ivy.
Yeah, looks sort of ivy-ish. Okay, doesn't have those woody stems right now. Eventually, they can become more woody. But you'll also notice that this one has, again, that sort of pointy look to it, sort of elliptical, pointy look. This is either deltoid or somewhat cordate. Okay, so heart-shaped. And you can bend this leaf, and it doesn't break like Asian jasmine does. Okay. Not nearly as glossy as Asian jasmine, okay, much more dull green, but still, and again, it sort of has an artificial ivy appearance, okay. But you'll also notice that on Asian jasmine, it tends to branch pretty prolifically. So you've got branches here. Let's see, on one that I found earlier, there was a branch coming off of a branch that branched off of the main stem. But you'll notice this woody stem, and there's little branches, and eventually these will branch, and it becomes very thick in that way. All right. At least in its really immature state, Vinca major doesn't do that for the most part. The petioles come straight off of the main stem. All right. So you'll notice it does take a little bit longer to fill out a bed, simply because it has to kind of grow and curl around. And it's much more sort of wispy than Asian jasmine is for that reason. Asian jasmine will send up these more erect branches, and Vinca major almost sort of wanders around a little bit to some extent. All right. Either one, again, can become, in favorable conditions, can become very aggressive, and you have to take care of. But Vinca major is a little bit less so here. Vinca major has a purple flower. I believe it's 5 petals. And it's known as periwinkle, okay? So it is actually used for flowering effect to some extent, but reliably each and every year you can use it for foliage as a nice ground cover. All right?
Is it typical that